Hello. So thank you for watching this. So I'm doing this little meeting, little meet and greet with Azalea Ramos. So we are thrilled, so super thrilled that Azalea has joined our team. She has been with us a couple months now, and yeah, just wanted to kind of introduce her a little bit more so you can understand more about her background and training and why she loves working with couples. So yeah, so Zelia, do you want to talk a little bit about background and tell us more about yourself?
Oh, thank you, Melissa. I'm so happy to be part of the team. It's been a dream come true, and so thank you for doing this. My name's Azalea Ramos. I am so happy, so thankful to be working in the couples therapy space. I've almost always enjoyed working with families, with couples, just people in relationships and people in relations. So that has been sort of the focus of my work. I've started in child protection and adult protection. So a lot of that work people will say, hey, is that different? Is that the same from couples therapy? But there's a lot of similarities actually working through people feeling they're being heard, advocating for their needs, unmet needs, and getting to put that together in a space where everyone hears from each other and also kind of plan around steps forward and, also making a decision, hey, are we gonna tackle this problem together, or are we going to take a step back? And is that the best way, the best space for us? I grew up in Cambridge Bay, Nunavut, a small town community in the Arctic of 1,400 people. And a year before moving there, my family were actually from the Philippines. And so I've had the privilege of growing up in beautiful communities, experiencing different ways of relating with one another. And then I moved to Hamilton for school. I went to McMaster University. I then also worked in Toronto, still in the child protection, child and family well-being space, working with Indigenous communities. And it has always been part of what's lit my fire. But as growth at the same time, it's like, hey, can I also work with couples and just focus on doing that? And I did, and it was such a huge leap of faith, and I'm so happy to be here now.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love having you, and I've seen you working with couples, and it's a privilege. Like you just have such a soft, gentle approach, and I love it. And
Thank you.
you're like you gently guide, you gently challenge, and I think couples are responsive to that, right? Like they know that you offer that safe emotional space and you hold that space for them with respect and tenderness. And so, yeah, it's lovely to see. Um, and then so you went to you said McMaster, right?
Yes.
Yes. And so tell us a little bit more about your training background, like educational background.
Yes, so I've done a mix of clinical and community work. I also did my master's at McMaster. So I did both my undergrad and my master's at McMaster. I did a bachelor's of arts and economics and bachelor of social work, and then I did my master's in social work. People again would be like, okay, where is that going? Why did you do that? But I've always been interested in building bridges, whether that's like disciplines or ways of doing things, approaches. And of course, building bridges between people, between communities, just creating that space for dialogue. And for me too, I was like, social problems are connected to economic problems and vice versa. And then in the same way, seeing how those patterns emerge, maybe more in like from a unit level, a family level to a community level, those are some of the things that have got me thinking. So part of what really drove me to school and doing the things that I did was just pursuing the things that interested me and kept me afloat.
Yeah, not even afloat, it's
Yeah.
floating. And so it's the macro systemic
Yes.
lens and it's the micro with what's happening in the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to work with women fleeing violence. I also got to do some work in at a children's aid society, also working with families there, and with the Social Planning and Research Council. A lot of it too was still hearing from couples, from families, what it was that they needed. I think this particular project was with newcomers. I was also involved with the McMaster Research Shop, and right now I do also volunteer my time with the McMaster Research Ethics Board. And so a lot of the things that I do help keep me grounded, and I find that they do expand my understanding because I can't I'm not an expert on anything at all, but they do expand my understanding and empathy for how people see things, for how people come to navigate the challenges that they're facing, whether that's emotions or thoughts, institution from the institutional level, from a family, community level, individual level.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So modest. I'm not an expert at all, but and I understand where you're coming from because I know that as social workers, especially and psychotherapists, like we
Yes.
know that the client is the expert in their lives.
Yes.
And yes, we have all these credentials and training and etc. But we're taking their lead and basically guiding along the way and journeying
Yes.
like alongside them, right? Yeah, so I hear where you're coming from. And
Yes.
and so walk us through so your journey as a social worker and child protection and then now your journey has led to us and doing
Yes.
the couples work. And so can you talk a little bit more about what what you love about couples? Like why specifically couples that you like what pulls your heartstring about working with couples?
Yes. I love that it's so dynamic. And I think for me, it from the spaces that I've been a part of and that I've worked in, it feels familiar to me. It's just so dynamic. It's everything's nothing stays the same, and I'm always learning. I appreciate being able to hold stories and share that with the couple as a whole, and kind of I like the way that you phrased it earlier, guide and just facilitate that because I think sometimes it's when you come together as a circle and that's when you're able to really be able to see, hey, these are the things that maybe we need to water. These are the things we need to prune on. And you have the tools. Maybe you don't have the right pair of shears, but would this help? And so kind of being able to just it's very fulfilling to me actually because it doesn't it's very collaborative. I don't feel like it comes down from, hey, this is what you should do, but being able to have that collaborative space with partners, with the couples, and how do you want to lead this and how can we work on this together and how can I facilitate this for you? And so being able to work in a space too where folks always take as much ownership of the work as they want to. So I really appreciate that.
So what I'm hearing you say is you love the challenge of it. You
Yes.
you love being able to have a new, like a different experience every time. And even with the same
Yes.
couple, it's dynamic, it's changing, it's evolving. Each session's different. So I love that. And I love your metaphor around gardening, um,
Mm.
because it's true, right? Like being able to help them um shear you said what's the
Yes.
word?
The
Like
tools.
to prune, right? Yeah,
Yes.
to prune what is no longer working for them, what's not serving them anymore in the
Yes.
relationship, whether that's certain beliefs or
Mm-hmm.
whatever that might be. And then watering what you're trying to nurture. I love that. Yeah. And then the shears that you're providing, like you're giving them tools, right?
Mm-hmm.
The right tools to be able to do the right things, and have meaningful conversations. So walk us through what tools you have in your repertoire. Like I know you have you have advanced training in terms of working with couples. So can you share that a little bit more as well?
Oh, thank you, Melissa. I take a I hope, and in my work, I take an integrative approach. And so I'm always learning, but my work is grounded in the Gottman Method and also emotional focused therapy for couples. I also, just coming from my upbringing where I grew up and the work that I've done for most of my career so far, having indigenous approaches to social work and really just or and therapy and really having and grounding my work in the premise of circles, and at the same time, I'm always learning. So trying to incorporate things from, for example, internal family systems therapy for couples. I am learning on some building up my knowledge on somatic therapy as well. And how can that work with couples? And I know for yourself as well with yoga, like the mind body connection is so important. And so that's something that I'm sort of focusing all my interests in, and hopefully I can also have like the tools that I can tailor to each couple because each couple is different, each experience is different, each conflict or each, let's say, history is different, and we can't just have like a copy paste approach and like, okay, this is the box for you, but making sure that it is what works for you, the experiences that the couples have had together, and the life and the shared meanings that they have look moving forward.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love how you use an integrative approach because you're right, every couple is going to be different. The issues
Yes.
presented before you is going to be different. So you have a number of different tools in your toolbox. And as much as we, as the practice, lean on
Yes.
Gottman, and for our whole, the assessment process with the Gottman
Hmm.
Connect and the structure of the sessions, how that's all done, and the interventions, the tools, a lot of it is Gottman for sure.
Yes.
But what I do enjoy and appreciate about the Gottman method is that it allows for integration quite
Yes.
readily, right?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
yes.
nice.
And for let's say folks who feel so much grounded hearing that it's backed for 4 decades of research, and having that connect that network to really lean on and rely on, I think is a blessing.
Yeah, which is one,
Yeah.
yeah, it's grounded, which is really useful.
Yes.
Yeah. So what might be some like typical presenting issues that couples might come and see you for?
So, life transitions, rebuilding trust and commitment, also figuring out steps forwards in terms of small to larger betrayals, and then also at the same time, navigating cultural differences. I myself, and I always forget, my partner has to remind me sometimes, or we kind of just come to a realization sometimes. I myself, I'm in an interracial, inter, oh my gosh, my brain is blanking. But yes, like intercultural relationship. And so kind of being able to navigate those pieces with family, with culture, even with faith. So all of these, I've also worked with same-sex or queer couples, and also navigating challenges around that. So yeah, I focus more on how couples, because issues can stay more or less the same, but focusing on the heart of how one partner and another partner and how they're interacting with one another and getting to the root of that and what's behind that as well.
Mhm.
So I hope that makes sense.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love that you captured like basically perpetual issues, right?
Yes.
And how any given couple, whether they're happy or unhappy, they're gonna have among all the problems that they're facing, 69% are gonna be those perpetual issues.
Hmm.
And how do we navigate that? I love what you said, like getting to the heart of it and
Yeah.
being able to have a deeper understanding of why, like why you
Hmm.
have the stance that you do, like why is this meaningful for you? Maybe
Hmm.
exploring like childhood child
Attachment and
attachment
trauma.
story or
Yes,
childhood trauma or like what's the maybe childhood belief that has formed around, your stance on certain things. And
absolutely.
yeah, so it's helpful, yeah. And I love how you phrased smaller or larger betrayals.
Yes.
So like how would you, so if a couple came to you with a small betrayal, let's just start with
Hmm.
small betrayal, like how would you, like what kind of tools would you use to kind of address that in front of you?
Yes. Well, small betrayals can start from not having conversations around unmet needs,
Mhm.
just for example, and continually being dismissed or denied that space to talk about your unmet need. So Gottman has a tool, a resource, and having a conversation on unmet needs. And so that's often one of the things that do come up in terms of challenges that couples have. Because in a way, hey, you're my partner. You're supposed to be supportive and there for me and be able to hold space and just listen. But you've ignored me this one time, then another, and another. And that is a betrayal to who the partner thinks they are with, or who they're the partnership that they had imagined and that they had hoped for and they had dreamt up. And so that's just one small betrayal, for example. And what's tricky is that that could lead to resentment over time, which could lead to larger betrayals as well. And so being able to kind of catch those pieces and name them, identify them before it gets bigger, and also do the repair and the mending work for those smaller betrayals. So, for example, having conversations or even having a stress reducing conversation and having to clear up and set aside a time. Hey, this is what we're going to talk about our relationship. Or maybe your partner has said something that didn't, land well with you. Are we still on the same page about things? You said when we were dating that we were going to work on this and pursue this together. Do we still have the shared meanings and shared values? And so Gottman also has tools that really kind of uncover and pull the curtains back on what these shared meanings and shared values are if
Mhm.
one person in the relationship feels that there's something shaky, or they've also felt a little betrayed in a certain value that they have or a certain meaning that they hold in their life, and that could mean their family, their jobs, their career, and the different roles that they have as a person. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
that's good. Yeah, it's really good. And I love your, again, metaphor. You're so good with metaphors, even in your fashion. Like you're wonderful with thinking of these metaphors off the top of your head. It's wonderful. But what you said just now about like opening the curtains, right?
Yes.
And sometimes that's scary for couples if it's some kind of hot topic that they've been avoiding for a number of years
Mm-hmm.
and they just kind of don't talk about it, but it's festering, right? And it's the
Yes.
resentment, but being able to open those curtains, shed the light on whatever that might be, and then
Yes.
and giving them that support and those tools to be able to talk
Yes.
about it openly and talk
Mm-hmm.
about it, without the horsemen kind of galloping all over the place as
Yes.
well, and just, creating that safe space for them to do that, providing those tools and structure, right, to be able to have the.
Yes. And to go along with that metaphor of like pulling back the curtains, when the air is stale and it gets tense, you gotta open the windows and let some fresh air in. What does that look like in terms of compromise, let's say? And so there's also tools on have the two ovals and the compromise tools that we have in Gottman. And so let's get some fresh air into this festering, stale sort of space or area in your relationship that you don't want to touch, that you don't want to go near. And what can we do about it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It might feel scary. It might feel scary, but that's great when you do open the window.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how much maybe you didn't realize the air was stale.
Yes.
When you have that fresh air come in, then realizing, oh, this actually feels good. It
Yes.
might be difficult. This conversation and therapy period
Yeah.
be difficult,
Yes.
but the alternative is you can have these conversations in a meaningful way and actually be
Mhm.
more connected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The breath of fresh air.
Fresh
We're
air.
providing the breath of fresh air for people.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
lovely. Great. So how can people reach you if they want that breath of fresh air?
So you can reach me at thecouplewellnessexperts.com. I'm available evenings and weekends. A lot of the folks that I work with, typically they do it right after work or when they're just finishing work. And so you're welcome to bring your furry baby, cuddle up on the couch. If you have to eat dinner in front of me, I welcome that. I know it's a busy space, but I know you're also juggling all these priorities. So bring a blanket. If you need to fold laundry too while we're talking, I'm down. I'm cool with that because
Oh, buddy.
yeah, and I want to make a space that works for you. So, yeah.
Yeah, and what I hear with that is you want to meet people where they're at and be available to them, whatever
Yes.
that might look like to them. Ideally, let's focus on the, session and not
Yes.
distractions as much as possible.
Of course.
You can make the most out of it. But I hear what you're saying in terms of just come, like just be there. Like,
Yes.
the important thing is showing up.
Yes.
Showing
Yes.
up and then doing the work, being present.
Yes.
And so, yeah, giving them that space to be able to focus on like not only
Mhm.
you in the session, but like each other,
Yes. Yes.
each other.
Yes.
Yeah. So they
Yeah.
might eat dinner while they're looking at each other.
Yes, or it's a
Appreciate
way
while they're
to
eating.
um if any way to help manage anxious energy, um and if that's working with your hands like folding laundry, that's okay. But we do also talk about flooding, so whatever works to really come into a space with ease.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. When I had the retreat last weekend, I put stress balls on the table, like just so that, people like things
Yes.
fidget with like as they're kind of listening to the workshop and stuff. So yeah, I put that there just for them to be able to do that. So in session two, same idea, right? Like for some
Mhm.
people they pay more attention if
Yes.
they have something to fidget with, and whether it's like those little fidget spinners, I know my son had some of those, or
Yes.
that might be like just being able to play with something helps them to actually pay attention more. So yeah,
Yes.
fair. They need to do. Yeah, good. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Azalea.
Thank you, Melissa.